There's nothing quite like seeing your restaurant concept take off. When word of mouth spreads, lines get longer, and your food starts flying out the door. But with that success comes new pressure. How do you keep quality high when order volumes increase and, to make it even more challenging, a big chunk of your business heads out the door in takeout bags, or boxes, more specifically? Because while demand is great, meeting it and keeping quality intact, especially outside of your four walls, can bring some serious challenges.
Our director of operations came from another restaurant group that would punish their general managers for turning off third party. And he showed up here and I'm like, turn off third party every Friday and Saturday, no matter what. And his mind was blown. Our entire focus is delivering a quality product to the guest on time.
So you've got a product people love and a loyal following that wants more of it, and fast. It's tempting to chase higher volume sales with delivery platforms, but if the product that arrives isn't what you'd serve in-house, what's the true cost to your business?
We care about food quality, not food cost. We care about order timing, not order volume. I always convince people, it's like, if you give this to them, sales will go up. They'll come back more frequently.
Our guest today is Andy Brown, founder of Andy's Pizza, a brand known for great ingredients, serious quality, and some of the best slices in the DMV. He's building a thriving business without compromising on what matters most: hot, fresh pizza and a great guest experience, even when it's going out the door in a cardboard box. From partnering with third parties on his terms to training teams to deliver consistency at scale, Andy's all about doing takeout right and building the kind of operation that grows because guests can taste the difference. I'm Rachel Staten Marcus, and this is Science of Service, the podcast where we uncover the strategies behind building successful hospitality businesses. Whether you're a seasoned operator or just starting out, you'll find insights and inspiration to help you thrive. So if you're dealing with delivery delays, juggling third-party logistics, or just trying to maintain great service and quality without playing compromise whack-a-mole, pull up a chair and grab a slice. This episode's got you covered. Let's be real. After a long day, there's something magical about lifting that pizza box lid and seeing a perfect pie staring right back at you. Whether it's game night, date night, or just a Tuesday, great pizza just hits different. And for Andy, pizza isn't just food. It's a craft, a calling, and a full-on love story.
In my early 20s, I was a cook, not a baker, and I stayed away from everything yeast. And then a friend of mine got really into bread baking, and he was like, make this bread. I got this recipe. And so I made it with him, and I really enjoyed it. And so I started making bread, and then everyone who makes bread eventually just makes pizza because it's just topped bread. And so life goes on. I'm working at restaurants. I'm thinking about what I want to do with my life. And I ended up buying a pizza oven for my studio apartment. And I just fell madly in love with the pursuit of pizza. And it wasn't about toppings. It wasn't about how fancy it could be. It was like making a great cheese pie. And I equate it to everyone now who's obsessed with their smoker and brisket because it's just a hot box with meat, salt, and pepper. And pizza is just dough, sauce, and cheese in a hot box. But both of those things can be gross and both of those things can be great. And so you kind of follow this journey, and I really fell in love with it. I still have a lot of passion for other foods, but there's something about pizza that really stuck with me. I started hosting pizza night at my house every Monday night. I was in the industry, so everyone's day off was Monday. So I hosted pizza night at this little studio apartment. And just doing that, I was like, I love this. I want to do this every day. I want to stretch dough every day. I want to make pizza every day. And so here we are.
Some of the best restaurant stories start in a home kitchen, where a passion project becomes a business plan, and with a little luck, the dream of opening your own place starts to become reality. For Andy, it all began with a pizza oven stacked on top of a speaker in his apartment. Yes, you heard that right, a pizza oven in an apartment. And after 3 years of stretching dough and hosting Monday night pizza parties, he found an opportunity that changed everything.
A friend of mine calls me, is like, hey, I got this opportunity. Let's meet up. And we're walking around Adams Morgan. And he's like, do you still want to be in the pizza business? I'm like, God, more than anything. I just that's what I want to do every day. I want to wake up and I want to make pizza. And he's like, all right, meet me at Tyson's Galleria. I grew up around here. I never walked into Tyson's Galleria. I couldn't afford to shop there if I saved for the year. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. So I go to Tyson's Galleria, and Isabella Eatery had just closed, and we walked into Graffiato, which was the pizza pasta place. And it is packed with all of the best equipment you could possibly get your hands on, things that I would never dreamed that I could purchase. And the landlord's sitting there like, we're looking to fill the space. They got 10 restaurants that are all empty. We want interesting individual operators, come back and cook for me. Now, I've been making pizza for 3 years, and I feel like I'm good at making pizza. I've got all these Excel spreadsheets of yeast percentages and fermentation times and temperatures, but I've never done an 18-inch pizza. I've never launched it in front of a bunch of landlords. And so I got these dough balls, I get this sauce, I got this cheese, I'm heading in, and they're all sitting around. And it's a very eerie situation anyway, because you're in this monster food hall that's totally shuttered. And I make these pizzas, and they come out like, in my head, I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And the landlord goes, oh, this is great, let's do a deal. I'm like, what? And in my head, I'm like, how the hell am I gonna do this deal? But I'm looking around, everything's in there that I could possibly need. So I signed this lease with these guys, and I've got $8,000 in my entire life. And I pay a guy $3,000 to paint the sign. I call US Foods, and I said, if I buy food today, can I pay you in 14? They said, yes. And I'm walking around the mall, and I see this guy sitting across the hall in a Cheesecake Factory hat. I say, do you need more hours? He goes, yeah, I could use more hours. So, well, I'm going to open a pizza place tomorrow. Can you help me open it? And he looks at me like I am absolutely out of my mind. He's like, sure, whoever you are. Where is it? And I point over to the other side of the mall, and I say, it's right there. His name is Iman. He still works there. If you walk in at lunch, you will see Iman. He will be the one with the biggest smile on. And that day we made pizzas, me and Iman. I cooked, he sold. We did $500, and that was the beginning.
Sometimes the hospitality gods are there for you, especially when passion, practice, and the right opportunity collide. What started as a personal obsession for Andy turned into a business almost by accident, and the rest is delicious history. These days, Andy's Pizza is a full-on local legend with a following that spans across the DMV and beyond. And that's no accident, because Andy's was built with intention. He's taken the same care with his business as he did with his dough, measuring, testing, and refining every step of the way.
We're actually really thoughtful about being a neighborhood pizza shop. And becoming a recognizable brand was like a side effect of that. That's not at all the goal. To us, being dependable for your neighborhood actually means sacrificing a lot of things that other restaurateurs are going for. We're not looking for tourists. We're not looking for buyout parties. We're looking to be a place that you can come and afford great food every single day locally in your neighborhood with someone who recognizes you and remembers your order.
I think Andy will forgive me for suggesting that he's maybe a little bit obsessed with running a great pizzeria and delivering the best possible product. But when it comes to keeping a constant eye on sales or worrying about what the competition is charging, well, that's not really his thing. So what does the team at Andy's Pizza focus on instead?
It's a hard transition to come to work at Andy's. For most managers and often employees, we don't care about sales. We don't talk about sales. We do celebrate sales. You can't not celebrate them. But our director of operations came from another restaurant group that would punish their general managers for turning off third party. And he showed up here, and I'm like, turn off third party every Friday and Saturday, no matter what. Nobody better have it on. And his mind was blown. Our entire focus is delivering a quality product to the guest on time. And so those are the metrics we care about. We care about food quality, not food cost. We care about order timing, not order volume. These are the things that we look at every single day. I always convince people, it's like, if you give this to them, sales will go up. They'll come back more frequently. My favorite story to tell is, and now that I have kids, it's like, oh my God, this is so real. If you think about a mom of 4 pulling up to Andy's Pizza in Old Town Alexandria, She's ordered 2 pepperoni pizzas. It's 5:15 on a Thursday. She rolls in, the pizza's ready. She grabs it. She runs back out to the car. She leaves. Perfect interaction. She's going to be back tomorrow. She'll be like, that was so easy. She comes in and we look at her and we say, ma'am, 7 minutes. Now, 7 minutes, like if you're like sitting in the office and you're looking at order time and you're like, that's not so bad, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Mom now has to go back out to the car. She has to undo all the car seats. She has to bring all the kids in. All the kids see the lemonade display. They all want a lemonade. So they all get a lemonade. Okay, so now they have these 32-ounce quart container drinks. They don't fit into cup holders. So now, oh, ma'am, your pizza's ready. Well, now I got to shuffle all the kids back out. I got to redo all the car seats. The kids spill it's like, I'm never going back. I'm never going back. The pizza was only 7 minutes behind, but she is never coming back. She will be at the Chick-fil-A drive-thru tomorrow. So like we try and make it relatable in terms of like a story of someone's life about how they experience order timeliness.
Yeah.
Because that's when it really hits.
So you talked about order timing. What are those other metrics that you guys look at?
Food quality in that regard. We have a company channel that everyone enters every single day and sends pictures out of their full slice line.
Oh, wow.
Top, bottom, side of the pizza. They send it at lunch and they send it at dinner.
Wow.
It kind of creates a spirit of competition.
Yeah.
You're not going to send a pizza out, right? Because it's going to be like, oh boy, Foggy Bottom's really putting them out today. So we always watch these quality metrics. We watch order timeliness, and hospitality is a really hard thing to put your finger on and watch. But, you know, reviews matter. And if you look at Andy's Pizza Foggy Bottom, we've got 1,000 reviews and we are 4.9 on Google. That's higher than the French Laundry. Are we better than the French Laundry? Absolutely not. What we have going for us, maybe they can't make pizza over there. But what we have going for us is that we always make it right. Slice is too small, give them another one. They had to wait an extra 5 minutes for a pizza to come out, buy them a drink. Like just do something to make that person happy and make sure they leave happy. And that's all anybody really cares about.
Switching off third-party delivery apps on a weekend? Ooh, for most businesses, that might sound unthinkable, especially when it's your busiest service. But for Andy, preserving quality comes first so that every customer leaves happy. That means he's laser focused on consistency, getting deep in the weeds when it comes to fine-tuning systems and processes to make sure every slice meets the same high bar.
Order timeliness. Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago, I was all paper tickets and I refused to go toward KDS. I was like, oh, computer screens? No way. And then in my head, I'm like, all right, I got to grow up. I got to I like to change. I like to get things better. And this is supposedly the way of the future. So let's do this. So I get KDS screens, and Square has a reporting metric called expo late percentage. So the expediter is the last person to touch the pizza before it goes to the guest. So if that guest's order is due at 6:30 and the expediter clicks that ticket off of their KDS screen at 6:31, it is considered late. The fear in my chest when I opened the expo late reports for the stores, 40%, 50%, 60%, I'm like, oh my God, no one is gonna come back to Andy's Pizza. What are we doing? It was like massive emergency. I called an all hands. I'm like, guys, this is the only thing I care about. We are turning off all orders. Everything is off. Just get this percentage down. Our goal was to be sub 2%.
Yeah.
It only took like 2 weeks. We turned it around really fast. We were sub 2%. We let that roll for a while, right? I'm like, rah, rah, rah. We're the best. Look at us. Look how great we are. And probably like 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, I roll into one of the stores and I see fries up for a ticket. I'm like, all right, well, I'll carry this up. And I look at the ticket and I look at the fries and I look at my watch. I'm like, these are 15 minutes early. These are going to be gross. Okay. I'm there and I'm working through the shift and I'm noticing things are early. So I go back into Square. They don't have an expo early percent. No one's thinking about this metric. So I pull it all out in an Excel spreadsheet, which I'm not very good at. And I'm like, oh goodness, we are making food so early. Oh. People are just coming to Andy's Pizza and they're picking up cold food. DEF CON again. Hey guys, this is a total disaster. We're terrible again. And I sign up for ChatGPT and I put this spreadsheet in and I'm like, The definition of on time is, no more than 5 minutes early and no more than 3 minutes late. And the charts are horrible again, probably worse than they were before, right? Oh. This is the emergency. This is what we're working on. And now we're back on track. Our on-time percent is super high. And I looked at a bunch of solutions to try and find this data, and I came across all these like business intelligence things that are meant for huge restaurant groups. You're talking about $20,000 onboarding fees, $40,000 annual charges. It's like, we can't afford that. I can't drop $60,000 on some piece of software to tell me whether or not my pizza's on time. So part of being a small restaurateur is like coming up with that scrappy solution. And yeah, it's a pain in the neck to get into ChatGPT, 3 times a week and like send these reports out and all that stuff. But it's like better than $60K. I mean, you gotta have to make these decisions when you're a small business.
Yeah.
So we're really happy that we find these things and our team really cares about it and they're really proud of what we do. And they know that what we do is quality and timeliness and taking care of the guests. So we met one of our major goals.
They say the devil's in the details, and when you start digging into your operation, you should be prepared for what you might find, right? But Andy's story shows just how much analysis, effort, and intention it takes to truly deliver consistency. And that brings us to another item on his laser-focused list: equipment. Because when you're aiming for excellence every single time, the tools you use matter just as much, if not more, than the recipe.
Yeah, in general, people hate the technology that I bring to the company, and it takes a while to get adoption, right? Because like other restaurateurs don't do this kind of stuff, but I really think it's helpful. And in the end, we're all happy that it happened. In particular, right now, we're trying to dial in exactly how we can make the exact same pizza every single time. And even if you just look at basic timers across the entire industry, they just don't really function how at least we would need them, or a lot of culinary applications would need them. It's just like it starts here and it ends here. We need stages, right? There's certain ways that you approach cooking a pizza. So for us, pie goes in. You need to make sure that your burner or your electric element turns back on as that pie is going in. Great. Our timer now kicks off, right? It is going to cook for 3 minutes. Every cook in the history of time who's ever made pizza in a pizza oven is probably going to open that door 5 or 6 times, check the bottom, spin it, move it over here, move it over here. But we were like, no, we dialed this in. It's going to cook for 3 minutes on one side. You're going to get a beep, beep, beep. You're going to check the bottom of the pizza. You're going to give it one spin. And the goal being that we don't want to be opening and closing the door all the time. We don't want to be letting all the heat out of the oven. We want to make sure that we are getting the exact same pizza every single time. Yeah. Once that pie comes out, right, it's pulled all of this heat out of the oven. And most of the time, cooks just go off of feel, or they go off of how many tickets they have or whatever. But I know from our experiments that it takes 4 minutes for my ovens to reheat. So a timer kicks off for 4 minutes. And by the time that timer's done at 4 minutes, the cook is then told that, hey, this place in the oven is ready for the exact same pizza it made before. It felt hard when we stood that up, right? This is not innovative. Let's be clear. This is a 10-minute timer with 3 stages in it.
So you've upgraded to ovens with individual cook chambers to tackle some of your big challenges. What made you choose that system, and what difference has it made in maintaining quality across your locations?
Oh, God. What made me choose that system? So I'm sort of like dreaming of this thing that I'm like calling Oven King. And there are random drawings all over the office, whiteboards, paper, of like, what is my vision for Oven King? And here I am 5-6 years into pizza making, and I'm like really obsessed with the process and how everything goes and the fermentation and the ovens and the stones. At this point, we've tested cooking on steel, we've tested cooking on corduroy, we've tested cooking on fiberment, we've tested all of these different kinds of surfaces. And I spent, I don't know, $50,000 trying to build my own oven. All the remnants of that are still at Tyson's, by the way. They're all feel like, when can we throw this out? It sucked. It sucked. I was doing all of this stuff. None of it worked. It was terrible. So I found an off-the-shelf solution that worked way better than anything I ever built. But, it's just trial and error. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to build an oven. And, we've landed here. It took 5-6 months to get here, and I'm really happy with the ovens we've got now. The pies are so consistent and they are so crispy. And like once all the stores have the new ovens, I like plan on just taking Instagram reels of just the sound of pizza cutting, because to me, like that is such a satisfying sound. When I walk into the store and I walk back into the kitchen for the first time on a Friday night, without looking at anything, I can hear whether or not the shift's going well. If I hear them roll across a cutting board and you can't hear that crisp, you're like, uh-oh. It could be the ovens are bad. It could be the dough is cold. It could be they didn't stretch it right. It could be they overtopped it. There's lots of like reasons that could be happening, but that sound tells me that like Andy's is healthy today.
I feel like that's a spark for an Andy's ASMR like TikTok channel.
I'm gonna use this microphone y'all sent me.
So we've peeked under the hood at how Andy keeps things running smoothly in store, but what about deliveries? Third-party platforms open up huge potential. After all, delivery is nearly a $40 billion market in North America, and in both the DMV and nationwide, in-house delivery already accounts for roughly 12% of sales every week across Margin Edge clients. But with that kind of scale comes complexity. And when consistency is king, a one-size-fits-all setup can quickly become a recipe for problems. So, how do you stay true to your standards while navigating the constraints of off-the-shelf products and logistics?
Oh God, deliveries. Yeah. So we did an 18-inch pizza, and looking back, I'm like, God, I'm a moron. I should have done 16-inch pizzas cut into 6. The customer would have gotten the same value. The entire world of pizza is built around the 16-inch pizza box because that is Papa John's, Domino's, and Pizza Hut's extra large. Their large pie is 14. It's technically half the size of an Andy's 18. But what that means is that every single delivery driver who comes up has a 16-inch bag. And we've talked to DoorDash about this. We've talked to Uber Eats about this. And like, we're a big customer for them. So like they've tried to listen, but they are a slow moving machine. And it's a real problem. I mean, we have posts all over Reddit. We've got viral things on Instagram of guys on bicycles holding 5 18-inch Andy's pizzas on their handlebars with a hot bag on the back of the bike. It's like they have the solution on the back of their bike, but it's 2 inches too small. So you know what? They're just going to carry it in the rain on their handlebars. And of course, we get a message from a guest that's like, hey, it looks like someone dropped my pizza. Can I get a refund? And like, we fight this battle constantly. And it sucks. I'm like, I wish it could just be like a burger in a small bag that they carry in the hot bag. But it's not. We went down the road of, should we do our own delivery drivers? What we found out is that pizza delivery has like a different insurance requirement, and it's because of the Domino's 30 minutes or less. There were a number of like major automobile accidents across the United States of America because drivers would be at like 27 minutes and they would just, speed to the customer's house so it wasn't for free.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a disaster. So anyway, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. That sounds terrible. I think it's about one, working really well with your delivery partners, and 2, working really well with your delivery drivers. Hospitality doesn't start and end at the guest. Hospitality starts and ends with everyone we interact with. It starts and ends with how you interact with your teammates. It starts and ends with that Uber driver who shows up. I know they're rude. I know they put their phone in your face. I know they're rushing around, but guess what? They're trying to make money like we are. Yeah. Get them a water. Get them something to drink. Is their order 8 minutes behind? Guess what? It sucks for them too. And so if our team takes care of them, the hope is that they take care of us. And they're like, oh, I hope I get another Andy's order, right? And they like always try and pick up from us. So we have some reliable guys. Working with DoorDash, working with Uber, they give us their top drivers now. And they make sure that we have people who are well rated, who are going to make sure that they do a good delivery. And that has really gone a long way and helped us a lot.
We talked about the drivers a little bit, but have there been any other unexpected challenges with working with third-party delivery, like around logistics, customer experience, brand standards?
Yeah, all those are wrapped into this, right? It's like when the food is late and cold, customers email us, like, can I have a refund? I can be honest. I ordered Chipotle. It shows up cold most of the time. I've never asked for a refund. Yeah. And I don't feel like I'm supposed to. I'm like, I know what I ordered. I know what I'm getting. That's kind of the name of the game when you're on Uber Eats. But we never want our guests to feel like we're leaving them in a lurch. And we have a team whose job it is just to answer these. And I equate it to the manager table touch. When I used to work at full service restaurants, being able to walk over to the table, comp an item, buy a round of shots, I could always make a guest happy. My manager's not going to drive to your house. So like I need the manager's table touch of delivery. And it's someone who's going to refund, someone who's going to fight on your behalf to go to DoorDash and get that money back, someone who's going to, if you've really had a bad experience, give you a coupon to come back. If you've had a bad experience, that pizza better be free.
Really love that philosophy. Again, hospitality from start to finish, right? Even if it's takeout or delivery, you're still bringing those aspects of a sit down or full service restaurant into it.
And that hospitality, like, okay, so you're going forward through the guest experience, right? From the cashier all the way out to the delivery. Like, I try and tell our teams, let's take that back. Let's take that behind the back of house. Let's take that to our delivery drivers who are bringing us food. There must not be a worse job in the world than bringing 175 cases into the alley of Adams Morgan, Washington, D.C., to our back door down a flight of stairs. That has got to be the hardest and worst delivery ever. Give that guy a slice of pizza on us. Give him 2 slices of pizza on us. It's hot as hell outside. Give him a couple bottles of water to go. Take care of those drivers, right? Because they're keeping us in business. And I know that on the U.S. Foods side, that's our vendor, and we've worked with U.S. Foods since day one, and we love working with U.S. Foods. I've gotten many a message from someone. We had a snow day this year, and apparently 3 people stood up at the all hands U.S. Foods meeting and said, I know we got to skip some routes on this snow day. We can't miss Andy's Pizza.
Oh.
Whether it's an Uber driver, a U.S. Foods driver, whatever, take care of everybody. And that persists on down the chain. It's my hospitality of the team members we've hired, right? If they're happy, they're going to be happy at work. They're going to be happy with the guests. It's all these things tie together.
Product quality and consistency might be the foundation of Andy's Pizza, but their hospitality is just as intentional. The same care that goes into crafting a perfect slice shows up in the way they handle takeout, with a dedicated team delivering that table touch feel even when it's at the register counter. And it doesn't stop there. From delivery drivers to vendors dropping off supplies, hospitality stays paramount through every interaction. But to achieve that, Andy knows he has to do more than just preach great service. It needs to be a core value for the business, a feature of both culture and training.
The hardest thing about pizza is stretching dough. Anyone who comes to me who's like a home pizza maker, they don't ask me about anything except how do I stretch my dough ball? I feel like that's something that everyone struggles with. There's tons of YouTube videos about it. And we use a big light board. And so we lay down this like kids tracing mat, battery powered. And as our cooks stretch dough balls, they lay them down on this light board and you can see the way the light shines up. You can see how many air bubbles are still in the dough. You can see where spots may be thin or thick. And you get immediate feedback on how good you are at stretching dough. Now, our guys who've been doing it forever, the guys who worked with me for 5-6 years, they lay that pizza down. If they see a thin spot, their hands just change without them even thinking about it, right? The next one's perfect. But new cooks, it's a super useful feedback mechanism to be like, oh, and then, we'll kind of walk them through, okay, it's thick towards the edges. You want to make sure your knuckles are towards the end of the crust. And we can walk them through how to fix those things. But it's just another step headed toward that consistency that we're looking for.
And you mentioned that it's important to have a strong team culture that invests in the changes that you bring to them, that it's difficult. It's important that they understand the why behind your standards and why you want things to be the way that they are. What does that training look like in practice?
The training used to be really hard, right? We didn't really have like a strong company culture when we were really small. In COVID, it was hard to really connect with people. And it was just like, well, that's what the boss says, so that's what we do. And they wouldn't do it as soon as I left the building.
Yeah.
And now we're a bigger company. We have more people and we have more of a culture. And there's so many people. Our director of operations, he started, over a year ago. And when he joined the company, he went and trained how to make pizza at our Noma location in Stride Streets Market. And I called him at the end of his pizza making day. I was like, how'd it go? He's like, they threw out every single pizza I made.
Oh.
He's like, I made pizza all day. And everyone, whether it was a front of house cashier or a back of house cook, threw my pizza out. And I was like, good. We want that, right? And so now as I make these changes, everyone kind of has this North Star. Everyone has this pride of what we're making, and everyone respects the extra crispy pizza, and everyone respects something that holds to the very end, right? So when I came out and I was like, here's new ovens, and I showed everyone pictures of the pizza that's coming out of them, and I let them hear the crunch of the crust, everyone at the company was excited. Everyone's like, great, pull my ovens out, give me new ovens. I know they're hard. I know we got to learn a new thing. I know we got to have this timer system, but like the cooks are really into it. Everyone wants to make it happen. So those culture changes get easier as time goes on, because right now for Andy's, everyone is invested in the future of great pizza. People aren't thinking about sales. They know it doesn't impact their paycheck. They're just thinking about how can we make a better product. So as time goes on, it gets better. But when you're really small, it is really hard. You just feel like I'm so lame. Nobody likes me. No one wants to do any of my weird changes. You know, you got to go through these things. And as you grow, the whole company becomes more resilient to it.
So you've had to get creative to maintain your quality, especially with the delivery, the boxes and the reheating cycles of the ovens and that. Bringing that level of detail to life takes time, cash, and definitely the right people. How do you balance those demands while still running and growing your business?
It's really hard. It's hard to focus on these things. And there's a reason that lots of people don't. My dad used to ask me, he'd be like, well, why is your pizza going to be so great? Domino's has a bunch of money. Couldn't they make great pizza? It's like they could, but they don't want to because it's hard and it sucks and people are against, making their lives harder. Yeah. And that's a lot of what I do is I make our people's lives harder until it gets easier. Yeah. So there's really no good way to go about it. You just got to make it happen.
You've had a lot of experience, obviously, navigating third-party delivery platforms. What advice would you give to other operators trying to start integrating these apps into their business without having to sacrifice their margins, brand integrity, or their guest experience?
You're going to sacrifice all those. Sorry. But mitigate the damages, right? Like to put something totally out of your hands means you can't control it. And that's a terrible feeling. But communicating really well with Uber Eats and DoorDash and communicating your problems and setting up a weekly phone call with your rep is really important. Keep in mind that those people you're talking to on the other end of the phone, they have goals for their job too. They have things that are going to get them a promotion. If you get them on your team, they're going to look out for you. If you show them hospitality, they're going to show you hospitality.
You've clearly embraced technology as a tool for maintaining really high standards, from kitchen operations to your customer feedback loops. For hospitality managers that are looking to level up their level of quality or consistency, where do you think they should start?
You start by learning your product and making a goal. And my goal was not always a crispy bottom pizza. My first goal was not over-topping pizza. My first goal was not putting too much cheese on or too much sauce on. Like the first innovation at Andy's was switching from the ladle to the spoodle, which was a spoon/ladle that was developed by Domino's and actually improves how even we spread sauce. Taking the time to really learn what you're doing and really set a goal for yourself allows you to communicate a goal for your team. And I don't want to dive into everyone has to think about quality. That's not everyone's thing. Domino's thing is not quality. They are the largest pizza company in America. Their thing is consistency, speed, and convenience. Yeah. Andy's is not convenient. We lose that battle against Domino's every single time. When I go to my daughter's friends' birthday parties, they're 3 years old, oftentimes there's not Andy's there. Yeah. And I know the parents oh, Andy's coming. He's going to be what with the pizza? And it's hard to order Andy's. Domino's will deliver in the middle of a field for you in the next 18 minutes. Andy's won't. So you got to find your thing and set your goals and then just chase those things. And it's okay if they're anything. It could be we've got the hypest flavors, or it could be we've got the most convenient product. Mine is quality. Whatever it is, be the best at it and chase it every day. And your team will follow.
Yeah, I can imagine toddlers don't appreciate the 3-day fermentation process as much,
They don't, but I am so proud that we were at a birthday party and there was Pizza Hut and Rose wouldn't eat it. And I was like, that is just the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. Oh
You made
my
it.
gosh. Yeah,
You
I
made
made
it.
it. I made
Get
it.
the dad awards for that. Okay, final question, and no pressure. Might be a little bit of a spicy topic. What is your ultimate pizza topping combo? One that never fails? And is there a topping you think is completely underrated or overrated?
The pizza to judge all pizzas by is cheese and or margarita, depending on the concept. If you're at a wood-fired place, you'd have to judge a margarita. If you're at a New York style place, you judge a cheese. If I bring someone into Andy's to like show them, here's what we do, here's how we do it, it's always the margarita. We have this beautiful hydroponic basil that's grown locally that comes, it's like picked 12 hours before it's delivered. We import whole wheels of Parmigiano Reggiano, 24-month aged, and that's what we shred fresh every day on top of our margarita pizzas. We use Corto Truly extra virgin olive oil. We love that entire company and like how dedicated they are to olive oil. And when you put all of those things together on top of a margarita pizza at Andy's, it is like, I'm so proud to show that to people. It could be like a new landlord. It could be a new vendor. It could be a new employee, like whatever. I'm just like, come eat margarita pizza with me in my kitchen. I think that any amount of too many toppings is in general not good. It doesn't matter how good quality the toppings are. If you just, pizza's about balance. Pizza's about crust. Pizza's about sauce. Pizza's about cheese. And if you make it all about one thing and you can't taste the crust anymore, then I'm sad. I'm like, well, what'd you do with the dough? Right? And it's like, well, I can't taste it because there's all this crap on it. So I can't really point to one thing. Everything can be wonderful in balance, but an overtopped pizza is a ruined pizza.
Everything in wonderful balance. That's how Andy describes the magic of great pizza. And honestly, it's a pretty perfect way to sum up his approach to business, too. From switching off third-party delivery on their busiest nights to preserve quality, to obsessing over dough hydration levels and training team members in the perfect stretch, Andy's focus is razor sharp. Check out the show notes if you need a recap on today's insights or if you just want to find out how to get your hands on some of Andy's pizza. I'm Rachel Staten Marcus, and if you enjoyed this episode of Science of Service, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you know a fellow operator who's trying to thread the needle when it comes to top-notch service and quality that inspires loyalty, why not send them our way? Big thanks to Andy Brown for joining us, inspiring us, and making us seriously crave some pizza. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.